tie your shoes. Make sure your shoes are tied good, okay? Because if your shoes aren't tied good, you shouldn't be using any tools at all. Very important. Bada bing, bada boom. Here we are once again. And you are at the Rocket Ridge Rusty Show. And this is episode number 14, where I will be teaching you how to rip a 2x4 in half using the power saw. So we're just gonna rock out right now here, Rocket Ridge Rusty Show, and let's go over again. Got your power saw, right? All right, so that's the guard. Oh, hold on. Let's get you set up here. Okay, we're gonna set the blade the full depth of cutting a 2x4. That's gonna be step number 1, and I hope you're listening. Okay, so we unlock it, okay? And we're gonna just unlock it, and you're gonna set the blade, and then you're gonna lock it in, okay? So now we got a full depth on that, okay? We got this plugged in, so we better be careful. But let me just show you that. Okay, again, we're learning to set the blade. I set it a little bit deeper, all right? That's okay, because that's how I want to cut it, okay? All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build myself a sort of a table for cutting this 2x4 in half, okay? So here, you follow here, okay? We got one block of wood here, okay, on top of the table. We're gonna put this block here and this block here. Now we got a space for that blade to glide through. This will be the 2x4 that we're gonna cut in half. We're gonna rip it in half, okay, with the power saw. So this is my safety bench, okay? The blade is gonna go in between the gap here, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna get our tape measure, we're gonna get our pencil out, we're gonna get these tools, we're gonna start having some fun. We're gonna start making some pieces here, okay? So if you remember, a 2x4 is 3.5, right? So remember when we take that in half, we got 1 3/4 inches there, okay? So we're gonna set this tape measure to 1 3/4 inches, okay? We're gonna lock it in, you're gonna block your tape, okay? And remember, this is how I'm gonna scribe it. You scribe it, you could use one of the techniques in one of the earlier videos, but for me, I'm gonna scribe it this way, okay? So, I have to do that a little bit better. For this, you know, we're making a YouTube video, one of those videos you see on the YouTube again. See? Okay, nice, right? Gliding it. Remember this technique? You learned this already. I just hope you're doing good with this. Okay? Again, we're using a power saw, so this is one of those things I'm teaching you, just kind of that you can make anything with the power saw. You know, if you want to really make this a perfect rip, you know, you use the table saw. But, you know, that's not what we're going over right now, so you'll have to wait for that episode to happen next time. All right, so you know we got our stuff set up. We got it all going here, right? We got a bench set up, right? We got the blade set on the power saw, maximum depth, right? We got a space for that blade to not cut into our bench or anything else, and we got our 2x4 marked. We're gonna rip it in half, okay? So this is going to be pretty cool now. We're gonna really see some cool action here, okay? So we're gonna take that power saw and we're gonna try to stay dead. That's why I made this line a little bit bolder, right? So I'm gonna watch my blade, okay? And I am going to cut down the center of that line. So if I cut down the center of it, right, or the best I can with the power saw, what that's gonna do is the thickness of the blade is gonna be split and divided into 2. So what that means is, you know, in theory and hypothetically, you know, I'm hoping that, you know, I cut this straight, this piece of wood, and you'll have 2 pieces of wood that'll be equal in width, you know. And then if it's not, you take the sander. You could use other tools, the planer, but you know, like I said, you want to get fancy dancy with this, you use the table saw, okay? Now what I want you to pay attention here, this is going to be very important, all right? one of the most important things I want you to focus on paying attention is where my hands are. When I'm ripping a piece of 2x4, and this is only, 31 inches long, where are my hands? That is what you need to pay attention to, because where my hands are is what's allowing me to make this cut safely, number one, and number two, efficiently with the blade spinning and rotating through the wood, okay? So I'm gonna set this camera up a little bit closer for you. I want you to get your eyes out and your pen and your notebook of your Rocket Ridge Rusty Show notebook, okay? And you take some notes on this. This is pretty exciting. I think one day you might really, you could become an expert with the power saw. You learn all these cuts and everything, all right? So let's get this going here, all right? Can you see the wood here? You can see it, right? Okay. So this is the wood, right? Now, again, watch where my hands are when I'm doing this, okay? And you go slow with the blade. It doesn't matter how good you are, you got a new blade. You go nice and slow, take it easy. You're ripping, this is a hard cut for a power saw. It's using a lot of power, okay? You use a cordless power saw, it might even stop in the middle of the cut because it's just a tough cut to make. Use the table saw, it's not gonna be that way, okay? Let's get this going here and watch my hands, okay? And watch how slow I do this cut so that you can do it properly or safely, whatever you wanna call it. Okay, get you set up here. You can see the whole thing, I guess. That's good. So I'm going to start with my hand up here, staying about, an arm away, okay? And I'm going to watch my blade, okay? Okay, I normally wouldn't stop the saw in the middle of the cut, but what I'm trying to show you right now is that I'm going to start moving my hand. So just start paying attention to my hand while the saw is going, okay? Here, and you keep your index finger or your thumb or here, I'm just going to keep it here, but you could keep this, and you want to always keep this distance or pressure or applied force of hand and body away from saw. Remember that, okay? That's one of those notes. Let me fix the camera, okay? That is one of those notes that you need to go write down, okay? Very important. When you're cutting this, you want to ensure that you're applying pressure and force, and in your mind that it's body away from saw. Kind of like using the knife that I taught you in other videos. We'll go over that more too. Using a work utility knife. You cut away from your body, okay? So same thing with cutting with the saw. You want to cut away from your body. Okay, you keep those opposite, like a battery, right? Like a battery. Positive and negative, okay? This is going to fall, okay? Positive and negative forces, okay? What does that mean? It means your body is going one way and the saw is cutting into it that way. So you're just going away from each other. That is very important. And you keep that in your mind while you're making cuts. I mean, it could be in the back porch of your mind. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something I'm thinking about this right now. No. Just kind of keep it as a back mental note. Okay, let's get this cut back going here. Okay. You good? You got those notes down? Okay, we're gonna get back to cutting. So remember, I relocated my hand, okay, to a safe point, okay? Now again, there's that opposite applied force, okay? So when you start the saw back up and it's in the middle of a cut, you kind of want to be light on the trigger. You don't want it to grab and snag the wood. So be careful. If you stopped your saw in the middle of cutting a piece of wood and you're gonna start it up again, you might want to pull back like just a hair, just kind of like let it spin. See, like that, like I'm making sure it's back and it's cutting, otherwise it's going to jolt at you, so be careful. So So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this closer to my body, right? Because my reach is going to start getting a little bit far. I could make that reach, but I'm just trying to teach you some different techniques and movements that might help your posture, okay? See how I slid it? Okay, same thing. Now I can get a full stretch through. Another important thing to always think about, where is your cord, right? We talked about how to tie the cord in a knot, but we didn't talk about where the cord is. Try to keep the cord so you don't step on it. You see this thing? You step on this and you're sliding your saw, it could be that you're stepping on the cord in the wrong spot. So be careful and move the cord away from your feet. Okay, let's finish this cut. Now you saw at the end of the cut there, I slid it all the way through and passed, okay? So I was finished cutting, but you could just glide it through the rest of the way, okay? Let's check these pieces of wood out. Nice and smooth. Okay, let's move our bench closer here. Okay, so remember, when you're cutting with the power saw, it's not going to be exact. It's not the chop saw, but these are rips that could be used for building things. So your ability to be within a little bit is okay. So let's just check these out. You know, don't forget the 2x4 itself is not always perfect, which is normal. That's totally normal. Okay, let's get this camera up for you. Okay, we're going to take the two pieces and we're going to sight them down. Look how perfect that is for just using the power saw. Okay, let's check it with the tape measure. Okay, look at that. Let me get over here. See, 1 3/4. We're within the 1/16 of an inch. Okay, 1/16 of an inch is like it's like I said, a 1/16 of an inch is small. Is smaller than the thickness of a carpenter's pencil. The lead or whatever. No, that's not whatever you call it. I don't know what they make nowadays. Anyways, look at that. 1 3/4. You see. Now again, we did this with the power saw. Okay. All right, so we're going to recap this video. We're just wrapping it up here. All right, so you learned how to rip a 2x4 with the power saw. Okay, those main notes you need to keep and, you know, reference to is, you know, number 1, safety. Number 2, the cord. Keep it away from your feet so you don't step on the cord. Number 3, we didn't say it in the video, but I will now. Tie your shoes. Make sure your shoes are tied good, okay? Because if your shoes aren't tied good, you shouldn't be using any tools at all. Very important there, okay? Okay, that was number 3. Okay, number 4, we used a basic scribing method with the pencil and the tape measure, which is what you learned in the earlier videos. Again, you should be watching all of the videos to gain all of the knowledge and information. Okay, we made it a bolder line because we're ripping a 2x4. We want to see that pencil line. Number 5, keeping that motion of the saw away from the body, right? So you're cutting away, okay? The blade is going in that direction and your body's going in that direction, okay? Very important, okay? You cut slow. If you stop the saw in the middle of your cut, make sure you don't go full force when you start that saw back up again. You want to kind of either back it out a hair or you want to start it up slow, you know, pull that trigger a little slow. Again, we use the power saw to make a rip on a 2x4 in half. Okay, and you saw how good it came out. It looks good. Okay, it's very smooth, and we're within a 1/16 of an inch, which is good. The 2x4, all 2x, you know, it's not going to be perfect on edge anyway. So you want to rip a 2x4, you want to make something, some smaller piece, you want to salvage your scrap wood and make stuff. This is a good way to do it. Okay. What else can I tell you here? The other important thing is, what was it? Be safe, okay? I probably said that twice already, or 10 times, I'm not sure. But yeah, you know, keep that in mind. Yeah, you know, you can rip anything with the power saw like this. It could be plywood, it could be bigger pieces of lumber. It doesn't have to just be a 2x4. But you always got to practice these same methods and techniques. And I'll say it one more time. Body, away. You know, you're cutting in the opposite direction that your body, you know, you position your hand, you secure it, but you don't want to grab it with great force. You know, you saw my hands were kind of light, but some pressure was applied. I'm not putting full pressure on the wood. And yeah, so that's been episode number 14. I hope that you enjoyed the Rocket Ridge Rusty Show, episode number 14, and we learned about how to rip a 2x4 in half. You have a great day, and get out there and have some fun, all right? That's what it's all about. That's what this is all about, having some good old fun. Take care now.